This is ABC7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Your emotions are not these invaders from another planet that you can't control. And we teach that in our society. Well, you can't change how you feel. Yeah, you actually can, because you create your own feelings by the way you perceive reality.
The Social Black Belt program helps students manage their emotions and deal with the stresses and strains that are part of everyday life. It's a program Suncoast schools are starting to fund, but how much will it cost? Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohen, and welcome to ABC7 at 7. We'll have more on the Social Black Belt program in a moment, but first, our top 7 stories at 7. In the aftermath of the deadliest mass shooting in U.S. history, Republicans in Congress and even the NRA seem willing to consider doing something, taking a look at bump stock devices like the ones used in Las Vegas that could allow a semi-automatic weapon to fire like a machine gun. But get this, just that news alone is resulting in a run on those very devices at local gun shops. A gun store in Venice says it received several calls about the attachment, and their distributor is now completely sold out. Salesman Chaz Sizemore says bump stocks are fairly simple to attach to a weapon.
Anyone with simple mechanical abilities can install them as long as they know the rifle they're installing it to. I installed one for a customer yesterday and took all of 5 minutes.
Sizemore also says his store only has 6 left and he can't order any more at this time because they are sold out. Well, that was fast. A public relations firm just retained by the Sarasota County School District is out. This after a Herald Tribune investigation discovered online comments that appeared to be from different people but were linked to the firm's president.
This morning I had further contact with the reporter from the Herald Tribune and had the opportunity to speak with Ms. Michaelia, and she did not deny that the post had originated from her firm, at which point I asked that she resign as the district's public relations firm.
In a statement, the president of 360 PR claims her deal with the school system was KO'd by the district's communication office, saying, quote, "It's unfortunate that a small group of staff within the district communications department are working to counteract and undermine all the wonderful work being done for Sarasota County students." It's still hurricane season, folks, and it looks like we now have a tropical storm in the Gulf of Mexico. Tropical Storm Nate is heading towards the Sunshine State. Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan has more with the first alert forecast. Bob.
Thanks, Alan. Here's an update now on this tropical storm Nate. It's down in the Caribbean in the Honduras area, and it is heading to the northwest. Some good news for Florida is that it appears that it's not going to have a direct impact on our state at this point. You can see the latest satellite imagery is showing the system now right here. This is Honduras, and the center is just about ready to emerge in the northwest Caribbean, and it will continue to move on that northwesterly course. In fact, we're starting to see some deep convection developing now around the center, which, as I said, is just about moving offshore right now. This is as the 5 o'clock report from the National Hurricane Center. Top winds are just barely at 40 miles an hour. In fact, the Hurricane Center is saying that's pretty generous at this point. They're just going to keep it as a tropical storm, though, because even if it were to drop below that, it would pop right back up. By Friday, the forecast track and trend is toward the northwest, away from Florida, and then moving off toward the eastern portion of the Yucatan Peninsula, where tropical storm warnings are in effect at this juncture, and it looks like this will be a problem. If it stays a little bit on this side, it will weaken, but conditions are favorable for it to develop into a hurricane, and some models are suggesting that there is a chance we could see rapid intensification here. So although it's saying at 80 miles an hour, it could be a little higher than that before it makes its way right toward Louisiana, Mississippi, or Alabama. Those are the states now that appear to get the center of the storm, but I must caution you and let you know that sometimes the rough weather can occur hundreds of miles east of the center. So this area right here, all the way from, say, the Big Bend area of Florida over through the Panhandle, have a chance to get some heavy weather there. We'll see some storms here, but we won't get the feeder bands. It doesn't appear. They'll stay offshore of our coast. We will see, however, some high surf as a result. Now, there is a system just off the coast of the Keys. There's an area of low pressure right here. This is a little bit of a low pressure area. It's moving off to the northwest, and in fact, it will bring us a chance for a few more showers and storms on Friday. But right now, it is not developing. It's the one down south, Nate, that we are keeping an eye on. We'll have more on that and our weekend weather forecast coming up in a few minutes. Alan?
Bob, thank you. Florida Governor Rick Scott is urging Floridians to keep an eye on Tropical Storm Nate as it develops. The governor meeting with city and emergency management officials in Pensacola today. This as the state prepares for the possibility of damage from the storm, especially in the Panhandle. Nate comes towards the state less than a month after Hurricane Irma hit Florida, causing billions of dollars worth of damage.
In Florida, we know what it means to prepare for potential storms during hurricane season, and Nate is no different. Have a plan, have a disaster prepared kit, and be ready today.
If you haven't restocked your hurricane supplies since Hurricane Irma, now is a good time to do so, especially with a month left to go in hurricane season. Puerto Rican families are taking refuge on the Suncoast with plans to stay long-term after Hurricane Maria devastated the island. Both Sarasota and Manatee County schools are seeing dozens of students from Puerto Rico enroll. Each school is doing its best to accommodate the students. Manatee County schools have welcomed 36 students from Puerto Rico since Hurricane Maria. Sarasota County, another 4. The districts expect those numbers to rise.
Was really destroyed. All the windows from the kids, they were all destroyed. Really, no one could have classes that fast. The director of my school wanted to start the class on this Monday, but they can't because all it's destroyed.
Jorge's parents enrolled him in the Sarasota County School District. He starts school at Riverview High on Monday. The Florida Keys are slowly reopening to tourists. The Keys were closed to non-residents since Hurricane Irma swept through. Reopening the Keys is considered vital to the state's tourism industry, which was on pace to top last year's 113 million visitors before Irma. In the Keys, tourism accounts for more than 50% of the jobs and 60% of the money spent, totaling about $120 million a year in sales tax revenues for the state.
Tourism is incredibly important to the Keys, and we know the sooner that the Keys are able to welcome tourists back into their communities, the faster the communities as a whole are going to, and the Keys as a whole is going to be able to recover.
Monroe County continues to advise visitors lodging has yet to return to normal. New developments in the Janessa Shannon murder case. The Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office is charging her father, Nashawn, with first-degree murder and aggravated child abuse. It's alleged that he picked up Janessa from her mother's home in Bradenton, and at some point they got into an argument that led to the 13-year-old's death. Shannon is currently being held at the Hillsborough County Jail. The Sarasota County Sheriff's Office K-9 unit is getting a new crime dog. Meet Ando, a male Dutch Shepherd. Ando was handpicked by his partner, Deputy Kevin Scow, whose K-9 partner, Hyro, retired in July. The pup recently earned his National Police Canine Association bomb certification and will now assist on special details throughout Sarasota County. The unit now has a total of 6 dogs and 6 handlers. Still to come, we'll take a look at a new program that may be in schools around the Suncoast to help students better handle their emotions. Stay with us.
ABC7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you. Watch ABC7 wherever you are, on our live stream, on mysuncoast.com, on the ABC7 My Suncoast app, powered by the Eye Associates, providing sight for life, featuring traffic maps and live radar, dining with recipes, and My Suncoast Restaurant Guide. Visit mysuncoast.com. Click on the Apps tab to download the ABC7 My Suncoast app for Apple and Android.
This is an important medical announcement. Bard IVC filters have been linked to punctured veins and problems with migration. Anyone who's received a Bard IVC filter must receive medical monitoring and may be entitled to substantial compensation. If you have the Bard Recovery G2 or G2 Express filter, you are in a class of patients who should be compensated for some expenses. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. This call is confidential. There's no cost and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to people who should have been warned about the risks of the Bard IVC filters. Call the IVC Filter Hotline if your loved one has received an IVC filter and experienced a vein puncture or required medical monitoring. You must call now.
Call 800-329-3089. 800-329-3089.
Is your
mop a dirty, disgusting mess? You need the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System, the only mop and bucket that spins the dirt away. A system that cleans practically anything and everything with super absorbent microfiber. Dip it in the washer side and the mess releases into the bucket. Then place it in the dryer side and push on a pedal. You get a clean mop head that's practically dry and ready for more. And your hands will never again touch a dirty, disgusting mop. The heads are washable and reusable. Get the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System for just 2 payments of $19.99. You'll also get a Sticky Buddy, the reusable sticky roller that picks up pet hair and lint and washes clean in seconds. You can take advantage of our 2-for-1 Pick It Up special and get a second spin mop set. Just pay additional shipping and fee. And we'll upgrade you to free priority handling. So don't wait. Order now.
Call 1-800-394-1524 to get your Hurricane Spin Mop double offer. So hurry and call 1-800-394-1524. Call now.
When severe weather strikes, trust ABC7 First Alert Weather. We're here for you.
It's never been easy for kids to deal with all the issues that come out in and out of school. That's not news. What is a new program in Sarasota that aims to help kids deal with things in an ever more complicated world. Christopher Brantley joins us with more. Christopher.
Well, good evening, Alan. The program is based off of this book of Dr. Cortman's. It follows what he calls the 10 simple truths. Think the 10 commandments of controlling your emotions. Now, he hopes there might be an 11th truth, that the program is a success. In his quiet office, on a random weekday, you could be forgiven if his tweed jacket and calming demeanor make him seem like the stereotypical psychologist. But there's nothing typical about him. Dr. Christopher Cortman is a psychologist on a mission.
Our goal is to help as many children as possible.
Cortman, whose doctorate is in psychology, originally created the Social Black Belt program for adults, but then realized it works for all ages.
We help them to understand what their emotions are, what they mean, where they come from, how to champion them.
It's the championing of emotions that drives the Social Black Belt forward. It's about redirecting blame away from others and looking inward.
We teach them responsibility, that any behavior they choose begins with giving themselves permission to engage in that behavior.
For instance, rather than getting angry about the way you've been treated and bursting out, instead work to understand why you're angry. It's similar to mindfulness.
Your emotions are not these invaders from another planet that you can't control. And we teach that in our society. Well, you can't change how you feel. Yeah, you actually can, because you create your own feelings by the way you perceive reality.
It's all built around what the good doctor calls the 10 truths. Part of the purpose is to dispel what Dr. Cortman believes are commonly held myths, like that time heals all wounds.
That's a fallacy. And we teach children how to heal because life is going to bring them thousands of losses of people and things that they love.
The program was run through a trial at Northport High School. School board member Eric Robinson saw it firsthand.
I went there a couple times, and I gotta admit, I was pleasantly surprised to see the level of engagement and the level of sharing, and it fostered a sense of community.
According to Robinson, an actual change was visible at the school.
Behavioral instances went down, and attendance went up. Kids were more engaged, and those type of problems that occurred in the past have lessened.
So convinced of the program's opportunity for success is Robinson, he's putting his money where the program is, donating part of his school board salary to help defer the costs.
Academics goes hand in hand with emotional wellness and social black belt in particular.
Just a few weeks ago, the Sarasota County School District approved up to $200,000 in funding towards the program. Individual school principals will have the chance to join the program if they feel it's a good fit for their school. The name, Social Black Belt, finds its roots in the roots of the martial arts.
In the sense that if you had a black belt in martial arts, you wouldn't look for trouble, but you could deal with anything that came your way because you'd have the highest level of training.
While the name comes from martial arts, the mascots come from football.
We have this connection with the NFL alumni. We have the opportunity to bring some of these retired NFL players to come in and help in any way possible. Maybe do an assembly, maybe co-teach a class.
Dr. Cortman hopes that little by little, he can help change the way many students think and feel. Maybe make them think twice about skipping school or bursting out in anger. And Dr. Cortman will present the program to principals next week. It will be up to them to decide if it's right for their schools.
Christopher, thank you. In a moment, the man behind the social black belt at the Trapezoid.
Describe a battery or bulb, and Batteries Plus Bulbs will have it. Tell us what's broken on your smartphone, and we'll fix it.
I need a new battery for my phone.
And a new screen.
What did you do?
Visit batteriesplus.com for a store near you.
Are you currently on Medicare? In other words, do you carry the red, white, and blue Medicare card? If so, are you suffering from chronic back pain? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for a pain-relieving back brace covered by Medicare at little to no cost, shipped directly to your home for free. These medical-grade back braces are ideal for lower back pain, arthritis, spinal disorders, and other chronic back problems. Will you qualify for a medical-grade back brace?
Call Back Brace America at 1-800-683-9262.
Here we go. We're gonna go out there in the rain. You're gonna get wet. All right, here we go. Okay, quick. Oh yeah, yes. So much fun. Mwah. We're getting so wet.
When it comes to drinking, what do you think moderation is? The U.S. Dietary Guidelines define moderation as up to 1 drink a day for women and up to 2 drinks a day for men. So what's a drink? The guidelines say a drink equals 12 ounces of beer, 5 ounces of wine, or a cocktail with 1.5 ounces of distilled spirits. Each contains the same amount of alcohol. Like to learn more? Visit drinkinmoderation.org.
Here's something we bet you didn't know. Nearly half of all cancers can be prevented. That's right, half. Nearly 50%, mostly by making small everyday changes in your diet and controlling your weight, walking more, eating less, and eating foods that help you and your family to seriously reduce the risk of cancer. And of course, by not smoking. Visit the Cancer Prevention Together We Can website and get a free 30-day planner filled with tips, recipes, stats, and more about protecting your family. Go to prevent50.org.
Watch your Suncoast News at 6 on your streaming device for a chance to win a $50 Visa. It's easy. Just watch weekdays at 6 for the word of the week. Then enter the word at mysuncoast.com for your shot at a $50 Visa. We'll pick the winner each week. Good luck.
Welcome back. If ever there was a time and a need to help kids better cope with what's happening in school and out of school, it's called Social Black Belt. The goal is to help kids with coping skills to deal with their emotions, setting boundaries, positive goals, values, self-worth, addressing and resolving impulses, resisting peer pressure, and healthy decision-making. And joining us for more is Dr. Christopher Cortman and our own Christopher Brantley. Doctor, I guess my first question is, why hasn't this been tried before?
Well, in Sarasota County, it has. We started the program in 2010 at Venice High School. And I had a connection with the principal at the time who said, come on in. She was leaving anyway, so she didn't care what we did. But she said, see what your program can do. So they gave us 7:30 a.m. Monday students. And we had 10 weeks, 10 Mondays to teach them the 10 truths of the social black belt. And we did a little research to compare them to a control group, another class. And the bottom line was, instead of 10 Mondays, we did 14 Mondays because the kids participated so much we couldn't get all the material in. And at the end of it, when we did the follow-up, these kids were statistically significantly superior to the control group.
I know that you developed this program. It's unique in many ways, but has, in a broader sense, have psychologists like yourself and school districts, whether it's here or elsewhere in the country, tried this kind of approach? Because, you know, obviously young people are undergoing intense pressures from a variety of different areas.
Sure.
For as long as there have been kids.
You know, the short answer to your question is yes. There have been places where prevention type programs have not only been introduced, but they've worked. And what we know is that they reduce depression, they reduce suicidality, they reduce drug abuse and dropping out of school, teen pregnancy, a lot of good outcomes by teaching some skills to children at an early age.
Christopher, this is a pilot program in Sarasota County. Number one, how much is the school district paying for it, and where will it be offered right now?
Oh, they began at Northport High School, and you saw in the package that Eric Robinson, the school board member, said that it had a very positive outcome. He lobbied hard with the superintendent, Todd Bowden. They have decided to give $200,000 towards the program. And basically for any of the schools within the district that want to pick it up, as we said at the end of the story. The principals will be pitched at the program next week, and they can decide.
Now, obviously $200,000 is a nice chunk of change at a time when, you know, school budgets are under a great deal of pressure. So even if this is successful, do you glean that there is an attitude amongst the school board that they're willing to support it in the future?
It seems so. It seems that it has gotten quite a bit of support, and I imagine that the more principals that pick it up and say, hey, this has been very successful, the school district's probably going to say, okay, what's the dollar amount that we put behind deciding to help these students? If the program really does reduce stress, reduce depression, reduce, as he said, suicidality, if it really does those things, can they put a price tag on it?
Well, doctor, let me ask you this. If you are reducing those kind of results, is it possible that in the bigger picture you're saving the school district money? Because I would imagine that would you know, lessen the number of out-of-school suspensions or interventions that may cost taxpayers more in the long run.
You know, the obvious answer to that is yes, a good prevention program will ultimately save money. If we just look at last year, when we introduced it to the Triad School in Sarasota, and as you may know, that's a school for second chance students. By definition, they've been kicked out of another school before they attend the Triad. Just introducing the social black belt near the end of the year, according to the program director, completely changed the culture of the school. That instead of a competitive bullying atmosphere, the kids were starting to work together and to help each other and understand, wow, you have real issues at home and so do I, and perhaps we can help each other rather than compete.
All right, we are just getting warmed up. We'll have much more on the new Social Black Belt program right after we check the first alert weather, so stay with us.
Attention! If you had surgery to repair a hernia, listen closely. Ethicon has recalled its PhysioMesh flexible composite mesh after 2 studies showed higher rates of hernias reopening and additional surgeries compared to other meshes. This product may cause severe health problems, including pain, swelling, bowel obstructions, infections, mesh failure, hernia recurrence, and other health issues. If you or a loved one had hernia repair surgery in 2006 or later and suffered complications that required additional surgery, you may be entitled to compensation. Even if you're unsure if PhysioMesh or another brand was used in your surgery, you may still be eligible for compensation.
Call Sokolov Law now at 1-800-273-7215 for a free legal consultation. That's 1-800-273-7215. Again, that's 1-800-273-7215. I'm a non-attorney spokesperson.
I'm calling in regards about my mother, and I'm here, and I just want to thank you because it saved my mother's life yesterday. And I'd like to know the names of the people that came in and saved her so I could call and thank them. And she's doing fine. It's a wonderful thing. Thank you.
When you fall and cannot get up, an accident can turn into a tragedy. But with Life Alert, one touch of a button can get you help fast. Life Alert saves a person from a catastrophe every 10 minutes.
Life Alert is a lifesaver. If it weren't for Life Alert, I wouldn't be sitting here today.
For a free Life Alert brochure, call 1-800-652-3012. That's 1-800-652-3012. Call now 1-800-652-3012. For a free brochure, call 1-800-652-3012.
For more than 100 years, American Humane Association has been teaching kids to be kind to animals. Those in our homes, on the farms, on the silver screen, and wildlife conservation, caring for the world's vanishing creatures. But we can't do it alone. Visit kindness100.org to find ways to teach kids how they can make a more caring, compassionate, and humane world for all of us.
Our conversation on the new social black belt program continues right after we get a check on the first alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan.
Thanks, Alan. We are watching some clouds and showers occasionally with the review of the Van Wezel webcam showing you a cloudy day, really. Temperatures were below average as a result of the increased cloud cover. We didn't get quite as much rainfall as anticipated, but we had some showers that were briefly moving through and a beautiful sunset. Look at all those colors out there right now. It's already occurred, but still lighting up the sky with clouds in the distance there. Well, there's a low pressure right here. It looks like there's a tropical low, and in fact it is, but it's being sheared apart. Interestingly enough, though, it has some rotation, has some banding features going on with it. It is moving off to the west-northwest, but it is not the tropical storm Nate that we were talking about earlier. That's way down in the Caribbean. But this is kind of interesting. The Hurricane Center gave this a 0% chance of developing. And it really hasn't yet, but we'll have to watch it nonetheless, as a lot of moisture moving into the Keys right now and across Marco Island, heading off toward the west coast of Florida, now into Fort Myers near Sanibel. Heavier storms to the east of I-75. Not much here, though, at this time, but that will be changing as that system gets a little bit further northward in latitude, and some big storms along the West Palm Beach area. Currently it's 77. The dew point is at 73, and the pressure 29.87 inches. That's holding steady, but it has lowered throughout the day. We have an east wind at 14, and the winds have been rather brisk over the past several days. The high, there it is, 4 degrees shy of the average, and the record 93 set back in 1990. And no rainfall, no significant rainfall. We had 3/100ths of an inch at the Sarasota Braden Airport. Our monthly total now at just 0.08 of an inch. Our yearly total well above average, 15 inches above normal. And that's a result of all the tropical activity we've seen. The hourly forecast looks like this. Showers and storms scattered about in the afternoon and evening on Friday. Wouldn't you know it, football Friday night, and there's a pretty good chance we'll see showers and some thunderstorms once again tomorrow evening. Well, here's a look now at the Tropical Storm Nate, way down here over 500 miles south of the Gulf of Mexico. The deep convection well east of the center, too, several hundred miles east of the center. So the center now getting set to emerge right there in the northwest Caribbean. And as it does so, most of the models agree it will head off to the north, maybe a little bit more to the north-northwest, and then make a bend around the periphery of a high-pressure ridge located to the east of Florida. And anywhere from Louisiana all the way over to Alabama is where we're expecting the landfall on Sunday. It looks like Sunday early morning, and eventually tracking off to the northeast after that. Notice there are no lines or forecasts coming into the west coast of Florida. That's a good sign. When most of the models are agreeing with this, that means there's not going to be much of a deviation over the upcoming 48 hours. Now, the winds are at 40 miles an hour. That's being generous at this point. They could get a little higher as it emerges into the western Caribbean, where water temperatures are warm. In fact, it's expected to be up to 50 by tomorrow, and then up to a hurricane, Category 1, 80-mile-an-hour winds. I think it could be even higher than that as a result of the warm ocean, or the warm Gulf of Mexico. On top of that, conditions are somewhat favorable for development here as it makes its way toward, right there, the center line anyway, right into New Orleans as a Category 1 hurricane, and possibly a Category 2 making landfall again in the United States. It's been a very active year for tropical systems. Here's what the forecast is calling for boating tomorrow. Small craft advisory stays with us up until around 6 o'clock in the morning. We'll have east winds at 15 knots, and seas will be 2 to 3 feet with a moderate chop out there. UV index will be low tomorrow as a result of the increased cloud cover. And the forecast tides upcoming. Low tide at 7:46, just a few minutes. Another one at 8:04. Tomorrow morning, sunrise will be at 7:26. The forecast tonight, there's still a chance for a few brief showers around. 73 for your low. And tomorrow, rain chances fairly high. 87 high and mostly cloudy skies with showers and storms more numerous in the afternoon and evening. The extended forecast calling for a good deal of at least scattered storms over the weekend, with the main rain bands staying well offshore of west central Florida. Alan will be back right after this. Stick around.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Are you currently on Medicare? In other words, do you carry the red, white, and blue Medicare card? If so, are you suffering from chronic back pain? If you answered yes, you may be eligible for a pain-relieving back brace covered by Medicare at little to no cost, shipped directly to your home for free. These medical-grade back braces are ideal for lower back pain, arthritis, spinal disorders, and other chronic back problems. Will you qualify for a medical-grade back brace?
Call Back Brace America at 1-800-683-9262.
Stay connected to your clients and new customers using ABC7 Digital Media Services. Our team of professionals provide a wide array of digital services to help you get the most out of your website. We specialize in building and helping you maintain the most effective digital solutions for your business. It's vital that your online presence stands out, so our experts will equip you with the best resources available. Trust ABC7 Digital Media Services to give you the right tools to grow your business.
Just go do it. Go do it. If you're not in control, then who is? Live above the influence.
Watch your Suncoast News at 6 on your streaming device for a chance to win a $50 Visa. It's easy. Just watch weekdays at 6 for the word of the week. Then enter the word at mysuncoast.com for your shot at a $50 Visa. We'll pick the winner each week. Good luck.
Welcome back. It's called the Social Black Belt. It's a pilot program in Sarasota County that aims to help kids cope better with the stresses and strains of life in and out of school. And joining us for more is Dr. Christopher Cortman and our own Christopher Brantley. Boy, you know, Doctor, when I first heard about this program, I thought there was some kind of martial arts component to it. Here's the question. You know, in our school system, we are dealing with a lot of kids from different socioeconomic backgrounds with different problems and different needs. How can one program address all these kinds of issues?
Well, it's an excellent question. And one of the things I would begin with is that we feature 10 truths in the social black belt. And these truths are truths to all of mankind and things that will never change. For instance, one of the truths has to do with where our emotions come from and the fact that what happens to us, the situations other people never cause our emotions, but rather our perception of things creates our emotion. And so whether you have kids in one economic or socioeconomic school or another one, every one of the children has to learn to understand where their emotions come from, how they create them, and most importantly, what they can do to think and perceive the world in healthy ways. The research that we have done suggests that it does work in a variety of different schools because we were in lower socioeconomic schools, and the research came out very positive. The researcher at USF, the biostats department, concluded when I asked her for an elevator pitch, she said, here's your elevator pitch. The kids taking your program do 50% better than the control group.
But some of these kids are, have different problems at home. Some of them, because of their economic situation, nutrition may be an issue.
Sure.
There is a lot of drug abuse, alcohol abuse out there. There are a lot of inner family problems, and some of these things I would imagine. My wife used to be a substitute teacher. She saw the whole thing.
Sure.
And I would imagine that it's really tough to get through to all the kids who must go through this program.
It's always tough to get through to all of the kids. And the program does not take the place of feeding children, for instance, or housing or clothing children. But it gives them life skills so that they're prepared to deal with what's going to happen to all of us.
Christopher, you have talked to some of these kids. You know some kids who went through this program. What did they tell you?
Generally, it's a positive outcome. I mean, it's kind of hard to argue with a program that teaches you, how to handle your emotions and how to, rather than getting angry and bursting out, how to, take a second, breathe, and kind of look inward. Not to do, an elevator pitch myself, but it seems from what I've heard and from the people I know who've been through it that it is overarching a positive and helpful program.
So what is the time frame in terms of bringing this into the schools that are currently on the list And how long will it take for us to know whether this is a program that should go district-wide and whether there will be funding for that?
Well, again, excellent question. So we'll begin with, we're hoping to start imminently. I have heard from 4 different schools already to say sign us up. And
which schools?
Well, Sarasota High School, Pineview, Triad, Laurel Nokomis Elementary. Actually, a 5th school I heard from my wife, the program director, about Philippi Elementary.
Right, right. And if that, how long will this program last in terms of this trial period? And when would you hope to know that this is something that could be expanded even bigger than that?
Well, we want to implement it immediately. In fact, we're having a competition by the beginning of the year where some students who win the competition will be flown up to Washington, D.C. because there's an awareness for the social black belt happening on January 10th on Capitol Hill.
And you've also gotten some congressional support as well.
Exactly, yeah.
Christopher, you were there when the school board was debating this, and was there any pushback from any elements on the school board in terms of this program now and how much it costs?
Well, of course, with any program, especially a program that costs a good chunk of change, there's always going to be differing opinions and different sides. Obviously, it was approved through, and this was something that the superintendent, Eric Robinson, among others, really pushed hard for. But of course, you're going to have some people on another side. There's always 2 sides to every story, and there are, of course, going to be people who are going to push against it.
What was that side?
The side was, is this tested yet? Is this worth going into the schools? The question is always going to be, this is a new program. Do we really want to devote a lot of money to something like that? Something that is from an outside psychologist. Of course, the school district is large. They have a lot of psychologists. They have a lot of people on staff. So bringing someone in from the outside, spending extra money on them, that's a big question that also becomes an economic question when you talk about $200,000.
Doctor, what kind of coordination is there from the people who work for you or work for your program and the psychologists that are working for the school district and are there every day?
What we intend to do and what we've done over the last 7 years is we train the trainers at the schools. We don't teach the program. We did the first year. But we train the trainers, and the program is taught by the teachers themselves. And they could be any kind of teachers. But who has participated quite a bit has been the guidance counselors and the mental health people, the social workers in each of the schools.
Now, this has been in the news a lot over the last year with the new state education budget and a slice of the money that's now going to charter schools there. Will local charter schools be able to get this program? Has that been talked about? Is there money for that, or is that a different piece of the pie?
That's a good question that I cannot answer.
I keep on asking good questions.
Yeah, those are great questions. Except this one I don't have a great answer. I don't know about the charter school segment. I'm not sure how to respond to that.
And if you're talking about taking this program to Washington, D.C. in terms of telling folks up there what's going on there, obviously there are a lot of changes taking place at the U.S. Department of Education. You have a new sheriff in town there and different spending priorities. Do you have any kind of sense whether there could be some federal money available to this?
So the event is being sponsored by a congresswoman from North Carolina, Virginia Fox, and she's the chairperson of for the Committee on Education, and she's very much behind the program because we went up and we talked to her about it, we exposed her to the materials, and so she's on board and she'll be sponsoring this on January 10th from what I understand.
And Christopher, in terms of the school board and their monitoring the results here, what can you tell us in terms of how much the school board wants regular reports in terms of how things are proceeding along?
This is something they're going to be keeping a close eye on. Again, talk about the amount of money that they've put into this. The superintendent, Todd Bowden, feels very strongly about it. He really wanted this, so I imagine he's going to be keeping a very close eye on this as well. And there are going to be factions, I imagine, of the school board themselves, the members who are going to want to know. Eric Robinson has been to the schools to see it himself. I know there are a couple of others. I don't want to say for certain because I haven't spoken to all the others individually. about that specific question, but I imagine they're all going to be keeping a close eye on it.
Okay, we have to take a quick break, but we'll be back for final thoughts when we return.
Attention, Americans eligible for Medicare. Are you getting all the benefits you're entitled to? Did you know there may be money available to lower your medical prescription costs? Call Health Markets and we'll tell you if you qualify.
Hi, I'm Dr. Martin Jeetsi. It's a new Medicare year. That means more changes and more confusion. The key question is, what can you do now to ensure you get the care you need in the coming year?
Call Health Markets today. You may qualify to save money on prescriptions. We'll help you find plans that may cost less, cover more, and could even lower your prescription costs to increase your savings. We help you find all the benefits you're entitled to, and we do it at no cost.
Make sure you have what you need to get the care that's right for you.
Find out if you qualify to receive extra help with your prescriptions. Call the number on the screen now. Representatives are standing by.
Hi, I'm Joan London with A Place for Mom. Over the years, we've helped thousands of families find senior care, and today's senior living communities have never been better, with amazing amenities like movie theaters, exercise rooms and swimming pools, public cafes, bars and bistros, even pet care services. And nobody understands your options like the advisors at A Place for Mom. These are local expert advisors that will partner with you to find the perfect place and determine the right level of care, whether that's just a helping hand or full-time memory care. Best of all, it's a free service. Call today. A Place for Mom. You know your family, we know senior living. Together, we'll make the right choice.
Call A Place for Mom right now to get our free ebook on financing senior care, as well as a free referral for senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-290-0352. That's 1-800-290-0352.
Watch your Suncoast News at 6 on your streaming device for a chance to win a $50 Visa. It's easy. Just watch weekdays at 6 for the word of the week. Then enter the word at mysuncoast.com for your shot at a $50 Visa. We'll pick the winner each week. Good luck. The ABC7 First Alert Hurricane Guide. Download yours today.
We're talking about the Social Black Belt program. Our guest joining us right now for final thoughts. So, Christopher, where does this stand with the school board in terms of what are they expecting and what are they expecting to see in terms of results over how long of a period of time?
Well, they're going to expect a good outcome from this. They're going to want to know from students that this has had a positive impact on their life. They're going to want to know from guidance counselors, from teachers, from principals, and individual schools who have participated. Has this been worth the amount of time that they've spent into it? And again, it's going to be, is this worth the $200,000 that the school board has put into this? Should they re-up that next year?
So, Doctor, I want you to talk to two different kinds of parents out there. One who, they watch this show and they think that any spending is wasteful spending. The others who are saying they're hoping that this program can make its way to their kids, and they may not be in their school yet.
Okay, we'll begin with the first group, the skeptical group. I'm going to tell you about two different groups of kids that I've had exposure to recently, and I won't tell you where they're from, but fairly well-to-do, high socioeconomic, a group of 14-year-old girls, and 15 of those girls admitted in a social black belt class that they're into self-mutilation. They're cutting themselves. And if you know anything about that, that's a way to deal with painful emotions without having any skills to do that. The second story I want to tell you is being in a gifted class this past week, actually 10 gifted classes I had a chance to teach. And in every single class, all of these brilliant children, when asked about their anxiety level being high or off the chart, the vast majority endorsed that. Their anxiety levels literally sucking the joy out of their childhoods because they feel so much pressure and they don't have the skills to deal with their emotions. If we have a chance to be in the schools, we're going to help kids understand how they create their emotions and what they could do to feel better about themselves, how to understand their behaviors, how to grieve losses, how to deal with difficult people, all kinds of social skills.
Okay.
And that's what we want them to learn at an early age.
Thank you. We have to leave it there. FYI, you can watch past discussions. They're on demand. They're available on Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and Roku. We want to thank our guests for being here tonight, Dr. Christopher Cortman and our own Christopher Brantley. When we return, we'll have a final look at your First Alert weather. Plus, is anything being done in Washington to make gun laws more strict? We'll tell you after the break.
If you're over the age of 50 and considering buying an annuity in the next 60 days, I have some important news for you. Don't buy an annuity until you understand the pros and cons of annuities. A free book to help you maximize your retirement income from television host and three-time author Josh Melberg has been released. This book reveals little-known truths about annuity strategies in simple-to-understand terms. Grab a pen right now because we are about to offer you this free book that unlocks the 5 little-known secrets we believe baby boomers and seniors should know before buying an annuity. Call 800-307-2040 now and you'll receive a free copy of Josh Melberg's book, Next Gen Annuity Strategies Revealed. As a bonus, we'll also send you the #1 mistakes retirees are making with their investments today, and a free DVD on how you can get up to 33% more income in retirement. Call 800-307-2040 to have your free information kit rushed to your door. Again, that's 800-307-2040.
Juicy sizzling steak, ice cold drinks, over $3,000 in raffle prizes, and wagging tails? That's right, Polo Grill and Bar is hosting Tips for Tails. So bring your canine companion out for a party on October 11th from 5:30 to 9:30. Enjoy happy hour prices with celebrity bartenders, a canine kissing booth, and over $3,000 of raffle prizes. 100% of all tips go directly to care for the lovable pups at Dante's Den.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate, and it's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
Your primetime headlines are coming up in a moment, but right now let's get a final check on our First Alert forecast from Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan.
Thanks, Alan. A beautiful evening, sunset anyway. We had some showers around, pushing through at times, and light rainfall, and then, boy, just a gorgeous sky there just after around 7:15. A lot of photos coming in. We'll show those at 11 o'clock tonight. A low pressure area spinning just to the west and north of the Keys here. There it is. Right there, some rotation as it moves off to the west-northwest. No real threat of this developing into anything too significant at this point. It is an area of low pressure, and thankfully it's here. Had it been over here, we would have been having to deal with Nate. But now that it's to the west of the state, it's going to cause high pressure to build in behind it, and that will keep and barricade, it looks like, Nate from getting into our doors. Looks like, again, this area of low pressure is bringing quite a bit of heavy rainfall, occasionally the Key West, and then up places north toward Sanibel, getting some rainfall there associated with that rotation. You see it spinning right there, heading toward Naples, and Sanibel getting some moderate rainfall occasionally this evening. Well, for us, not much rain there now. We have some clouds around. 77 on the temperature, and the dew point 73. East winds at 14. The high today was a little bit below average at 83 degrees, and just 0.03 of an inch of rainfall. That's it at the Sarasota-Bradenton Airport. We may see a little bit more action tomorrow. Showers and storms scattered about. The rain chance at 50%. For those mainly afternoon and evening thunderstorms. Well, down in the tropics in the Western Caribbean, we have the emergence now of Nate, and it's now moving over into the water area. It had been over Nicaragua and Honduras over the last few hours, and that has really weakened it. But all the models are in fairly good agreement that it's going to head off to the north-northwest, then make a bend to the northeast later on in the cycle, and looks like stay away from Florida. Top winds are at 40. This is the advisory now at 8 o'clock, so it's a new advisory that has come in a little early from the National Hurricane Center. It's still moving to the north-northwest at 10. It's just getting set now to emerge out into the western portion of the Caribbean, and the overall forecast strength and path have not changed on this advisory. We never usually see a change much in the advisories from the intermediate advisories. Temperatures right now in the 60s and into the 50s in Montreal and Ottawa and Green Bay, and Detroit at 72. And Denver now at 62 degrees, Wichita 71, and it's now 88 in Dallas, still hot in Phoenix. Well, here's a look at the boating forecast for us here. Small craft advisory remains in effect for our coastal waters through tonight and tomorrow morning, and then More than likely, small craft exercising caution as a result of those winds still out of the east at around 15 knots. The low tide upcoming will be at 8:04 in the morning and sunrise at 7:26. Tonight, a few showers, breezy 73, and for tomorrow, better chance for scattered storms in the afternoon. A high of 87. The extended forecast is calling for a chance for showers through the weekend. For the big chili cook-off, too, at 2 o'clock near Morton's, near Hillview. Again, that'll be happening this weekend. We'll have much more. Ellen will have primetime headlines coming up right after this.
It's been about a month, and I can honestly say I've seen the change in me. I went from being a depressed girl who didn't want help to this happy, caring girl who loves helping other people. I just really hope that people that went through what I went through get the help that they need, because their story is important and they are loved. Thank you so much for everything.
Every child follows a path in life. For many, that path will lead them to a door that gives them a place to grow, to learn, to belong, a place to forge their future. Because while many doors open, these doors transform. They did for us. Support your local Boys and Girls Clubs. Great futures start here.
Because my parents told me I have to be responsible.
Because my first coach told me, you can do this.
Because my boss showed me how to do a good job.
Because my teacher helped me see the choices.
I'm swimming faster than I ever dreamed.
I am a valuable employee.
I discovered that I could work as an artist.
I will be whatever I want to be.
Youth with disabilities should grow up expecting to work and succeed. For more information, visit whatcanyoudocampaign.org.
I love taking care of my mom. It wasn't easy at first. She learned how to better communicate her needs.
And you learned how to not ignore yours.
I discovered how to make healthier meals.
And I discovered how much I enjoyed them.
Becoming a caregiver is a learning experience for everyone. Find articles, tips, and tools from experts and others who have been in your place. The Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving.
We've all heard how military veterans adjusting to the civilian world may have certain issues.
30. 70.
If only everyone had this issue. No matter what challenge they face, Easter Seals is here for America's veterans.
Checking primetime headlines, gun laws are a hot topic in Washington right now. Republicans and the president seem to want to wait before making any decisions, but there is mounting pressure. ABC's Karen Travers has more.
President Trump is not shy with his opinions, but on the biggest policy issue right now in Washington, gun laws, the president and the White House are not weighing in. For days, President Trump has brushed off questions about potential changes to gun laws. What would he support, if anything?
We're not going to talk about that today.
We'll be talking about gun laws as time goes by.
But on Capitol Hill, that time may be now. Democrats already pushing for a broad examination of gun laws. And now even some influential Republicans saying they might consider banning so-called bump stocks, the device the Las Vegas gunman used to make his weapons shoot more quickly. Even the NRA today saying it supports an immediate review of whether bump stocks are legal. The White House says it would be open to a conversation on bump stocks, but stopped short of endorsing a ban, saying it didn't want to make rash decisions so soon after a shooting massacre. If not now, when is it appropriate to start having this conversation about policy?
I think we have to be careful that before we go out and try to talk about things that prevented something, we need to know what caused it in the first place, and we're not there yet. We're still in that process.
The White House says the investigation in Las Vegas doesn't have to be finished before gun laws can be discussed. But that gives President Trump some room to sit on the sidelines right now while this debate starts heating up. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
Despite opposition from his own defense secretary, Secretary of State, and a lot of Republicans on Capitol Hill, President Trump is decertifying the Iran nuclear deal. Trump plans to declare the pact, which was negotiated under the Obama administration, not in the U.S. interests, thereby launching a congressional review. Trump is tentatively scheduled to unveil his plan on Thursday. The action stops short of scrapping the deal altogether, something Trump promised to do while running for office. Pennsylvania Congressman Tim Murphy, who brought new meaning to the word hypocrite, is going to resign. House Speaker Paul Ryan announcing Murphy will resign from his position effective October 21st. A decision was announced earlier today that he would not seek re-election after reports surfaced that the anti-abortion Republican urged a woman he was having an affair with to have an abortion. Murphy released a statement before the announcement to resign, saying he decided against seeking re-election after talking with his family and staff. He says he'll take time in the coming weeks to get help as he and his family work through their personal difficulties. Well, if Donald Trump can do it, why not billionaire and reality TV star Mark Cuban? He's expressing interest again in running for president, weighing a 2020 White House bid. The Shark Tank star backed Hillary Clinton in 2016 and was a vocal critic of President Trump. He criticized Trump again this week for not releasing his tax returns and says he will release his if he decides to run. Cuban, who owns the NBA's Dallas Mavericks, says his presidency would be more transparent than Trump about his business interests. He says his platform would include higher wages, tax reform, and health care. The 5 living former U.S. presidents will all participate in a benefit concert later this month to raise money for hurricane recovery efforts in Texas, Florida, the Caribbean. The October concert is a continuation of the One America appeal when former presidents Obama, Bush, Clinton, Bush 41, and Carter filmed this video urging people to help after Hurricane Harvey devastated Texas.
Hurricane Harvey brought terrible destruction, but it also brought out the best in humanity.
As former presidents, we want to help our fellow Americans begin to recover.
Our friends in Texas, including Presidents Bush 41 and 43, are doing just that.
People are hurting down here, but as one Texan put it, we've got more love in Texas than water.
We love you, Texas.
Donate to oneamericaappeal.org. We are all in this together.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Since filming that video, the 5 have since continued the effort, extending to those affected by Hurricanes Irma and Maria as well. And that's all the time we have for this evening. I'm Alan Cohn. Thanks for joining us and have a great night.